In 1996, Admiral Jeremy Borda, the Chief of Operations for the U.S. Navy, was scheduled to be interviewed by the media regarding the Combat V for Valorkins displayed proudly on his chest. Instead of facing the reporters and the public exposure that he had never actually earned those specific medals, Borda went home and took his own life. His death highlights a profound paradox in human behavior. People frequently risk severe humiliation, legal penalties, or even death to maintain a symbolic reputation. Falsifying military credentials is so common that federal laws exist specifically to punish it. This intense drive to secure respect and avoid disrepute is a universal human motive spanning every known society. We often assume that social hierarchies are arbitrary, a top-down cultural construct invented by people in power to stay in power. The reality is that social hierarchies are emergent biological properties. They are the inevitable result of individual organisms running deep evolutionary algorithms designed to keep them alive. To understand why a human being would choose death over dishonor, we have to look past human culture entirely and examine the simplest bedrock rules of survival in the animal kingdom. Imagine a population where every encounter over food or territory results in an all-out physical fight. The losers suffer injury or death. The victors survive, but they drain precious energy and risk fatal wounds in the process. Pure, unregulated competition over resources is an evolutionary dead end. The evolutionary solution is an internal assessment mechanism known as resource holding potential. Before any blows are struck, an organism calculates its own fighting ability relative to its opponent. If the organism determines it is weaker, it submits and walks away uninjured. If it is stronger, it wins without expending energy. When a group of individuals continuously make these local relative calculations, a transitive pecking order naturally forms from the bottom up. The hierarchy minimizes the aggregate biological cost. By declaring winners and losers in advance, the entire group avoids lethal continuous combat. This behavior is locked in at the chemical level. In species ranging from crayfish to primates, winning or losing physically alters the nervous system. The neurotransmitter serotonin rises with a victory, making the animal more aggressive. In losers, serotonin plummets, inhibiting neurons and forcing a submissive posture. Primates rely heavily on this system. A submissive chimpanzee will literally lower its body, looking up at the dominant male, and emit a series of rapid pant grunts to signal its lower status. The dominant male receives this submissive greeting, his serotonin remains elevated, and violent conflict is averted.
Hierarchies exist because individual strategies for survival produce highly organized, rigid social structures by default. In the animal kingdom, rank is largely dictated by dominance, the capacity to inflict physical punishment. Humans possess this dominance hardware, but we evolved a secondary, highly complex pathway to status, prestige. Prestige is freely conferred deference. It is rank granted voluntarily by a group, without any threat of force. This operates through reciprocal altruism, a model evolutionary psychologists call the service for prestige theory. Individuals with rare, highly valued competence, like advanced hunting skills or medical knowledge or organizational wisdom, provide crucial services that benefit everyone. In exchange for better group outcomes, followers voluntarily pay the leader with resources, respect, and social status. Because prestige functions entirely as an exchange system, acts of generosity or competence only work if other people see them. You cannot earn reputation points if the group is unaware of the transaction. This chart illustrates charity's effect on reputation. Notice the orange line. Contributing publicly yields an immediate boost in pure respect. But look at the yellow line. When exact same contributions are made anonymously, reputation gain is zero. Hidden altruism yields no evolutionary status. We didn't abandon the physical dominance of our primate ancestors. Instead, we layered a social economy on top of it, where generosity and extreme competence serve as strategic tools to climb the hierarchy. Historically, the biological rewards for ascending the hierarchy were not distributed equally between the sexes. In human history, nearly all fertile females reproduced, but male reproduction had a much higher ceiling and a much lower floor. A single high-ranking male could monopolize access to multiple females,
consigning lower-ranking males to total genetic extinction. This extreme variance created an intense evolutionary pressure for males to strive for status. Reaching the top of the pyramid shielded males from extinction and yielded massive, disproportionate reproductive rewards. Genetic analyses indicate approximately 16 million men alive today carry a chromosomal signature tracing back to the Mongolian Empire's rulers, most notably Genghis Khan. Extreme imperial power directly facilitated massive harems and immense reproductive output. The pattern holds globally. In 19th century India, Bhupinder Singh, the Maharaja of Patiala, housed over 300 women in his palace. Extravagant sexual access was restricted to high-ranking nobles, while men at the bottom of the social ladder could often not afford a single mate. Millions of years of this reproductive pressure sculpted male behavior. Modern men consistently score higher on scales of social dominance orientation, the belief that it is justified for one group to dominate another. Men also consistently utilize egoistic dominance, prioritizing personal ascension over group cohesion. To observe the contrast in women, psychologist Edwin Magarji designed a 1969 laboratory experiment. He deliberately paired highly dominant women with very low dominant men, asking them to work together to repair a mechanical box, and demanding they choose a leader.
Audio recordings revealed that the highly dominant women seized total control of the interaction, but they used that control to actively appoint the low dominant men as the leaders 91% of the time. Both sexes are deeply driven by status, but the unique evolutionary pressures of human history sculpted different behavioral strategies to achieve it. To execute these complex strategies, the human brain required specialized processing hardware. Evolutionary psychologist Denise Cummins proposed that our cognition evolved domain-specific algorithms designed to reason about social rank. This involves a cognitive framework called deontic logic, the internal rules we use to calculate permissions, obligations, and prohibitions. The human brain processes these social rules intuitively and much faster than it processes purely factual indicative statements. Children as young as 3 reliably map out transitive social pyramids before they can reason transitively about physical objects. This hardware dictates what we remember. When test subjects are shown photographs of individuals accompanied by character biographies, they display an enhanced memory bias for faces associated with cheating. Crucially, this memory bias spikes if the cheaters are identified as low status. Human intellect evolved to rigorously calculate social permissions and obligations, navigating the complex rules of the social pyramid. But calculating the hierarchy logically is only half the system. The rest is driven by social attention holding potential. According to this model, human emotions are not arbitrary feelings. They are highly calibrated internal gauges designed specifically to track your social rank. When you ascend in rank, you experience pride and elation. These positive emotions serve as chemical rewards that motivate you to display your accomplishments publicly and confidently seek out future competitions. A plummet in status triggers shame and depression. If the group devalues you, your body alters its posture, avoiding eye contact, dropping your chin, and hunching. These emotions force you to execute submissive appeasement signals, de-escalating tension and preventing further attack from superiors. This tracking mechanism runs constantly. According to sociometer theory, self-esteem itself operates as an internal dial, measuring exactly how included and accepted you are by your peers. A blow to your self-esteem is an evolutionary alarm bell. The visceral sting of public humiliation and the intoxicating rush of victory are biological steering wheels, pulling us away from social death and driving us toward evolutionary success. Because high-status individuals hoard the majority of resources, occupying the bottom tier of a hierarchy carries severe biological costs. Natural selection had to engineer specific cognitive strategies to survive at the bottom. Deceiving down involves the active internal suppression of one's own self-confidence to facilitate acting in a submissive manner. If you are locked into a subordinate position under a dominant rival, displaying overt competence is dangerous. By truly acting subordinate, you can avoid incurring wrath and occupy a safer position within the group. You bide your time. Another survival tactic targets the top of the pyramid. Many cultures use the phrase tall poppy to describe a conspicuously successful person whose wealth or distinction attracts envious hostility. When a tall poppy makes a mistake and falls from grace, subordinates frequently experience schadenfreude, a psychological pleasure in another person's misfortune. This feeling acts as a motivational tool, encouraging behaviors that actively tear superiors down and level the playing field. Because evolution operates purely on relative success, humans are equipped with a dual strategy. We have tools to push ourselves up through self-enhancement and tools designed to drag our superiors back down to our level. From the serotonin in our blood to the architecture of our logic, human biology provides the mechanisms to build social hierarchies and the strategies required to survive them.